Okay. Now, I'm sure there will be some latency involved, but this should be it. This should be the very first PC-centric gaming stream. And we're in with a kill immediately. We're off to a very good start. So, I guess I should say, straight into the camera, of course, while playing the game, doing all of this at the same time. Hello, what's up guys, and welcome to PC-centric Gaming. This is the new gaming channel. Oh, I should have gotten that. This is the new gaming channel that is literally just going to be about gaming. We'll be talking about other stuff, maybe a little bit on the side as well, but this is primarily about gaming because I think we've got to go back to the beginning. And the beginning of this was essentially, I wanted to create a YouTube channel that did everything. I wanted you to be able to find someone that basically knew about graphics cards, knew about computers, but actually wanted to actually play games at the same time as well. Because I think one thing a lot of YouTubers are pretty guilty of, unfortunately, is basically being so into hardware that they completely forget about games. Now, in hindsight, that vision, I wouldn't say it's not doable, but you sort of find that the problem isn't so much that I don't have time for games, I don't like games, it's nothing like that, which is something that, you know, some channels, they just don't quite like playing games, or they don't like the hardware, or vice versa. But it's just the audience aren't necessarily interested in both. There's definitely a lot of overlap, and there's definitely a lot of people that do want to see gaming content and hardware content, and again, vice versa. But there are plenty of people that, to be honest, they just aren't too interested in listening to me play games, and they'd rather have me create another video with a mouse review or a PC build or something like that. And so basically what PC-centric gaming is all about, it's as a place where I don't need to worry about creating content necessarily every single Tuesday on a strict schedule. And it basically means then that I'm completely free to do what I like on this channel, and I can keep focusing on hopefully what I'm good at on PC-centric, which is all about hardware and just creating entertaining videos. And this is me telling you that this channel isn't going to take up any time that I would have spent on PC-centric before. One thing that I did sort of have to do a little bit last year, especially when it came to game reviews, was that I had to put aside hardware reviews and things like that, and then had to do game reviews. And I say had to like it's some big chore. Obviously it's not. But basically the point of this channel is just to keep everybody happy, including myself, and it takes off a lot of the pressure, and it means that I can talk to you guys and not have to worry about upsetting some people that just don't really want to see me play games and would rather see me do something else. So thank you so much for you checking out this video so far. Hopefully you're going to enjoy it, hopefully you're going to subscribe, but regardless, thank you so much for checking out this new channel, because I'm only using one monitor at the moment, and because literally the stream started when the channel had 0 subscribers, and literally 0 subscribers, I hate to think whether there are actually any people watching this, but obviously this is going to go in an archive, so I'm sure you guys will check it out, because of course we did put that video live on the other channel about 10-15 minutes ago that links to this channel, so hopefully we'll get some viewers and we'll be able to answer some of your comments towards the end of this video. In this particular video we're playing Battlefield 4, and that is because EA Play has literally just taken place, and people are basically talking about Battlefield 1, and quite rightly so. EA Play, of course, it wasn't just about Battlefield 1, but we'll tackle the big one to start with, because I think Battlefield 1 is probably the biggest, most polished thing we've seen coming out of EA Play, and they've obviously thrown an awful lot of money at presenting the show, because they had 64 players, of which you had a lot of A-list YouTubers, a lot of B-list YouTubers, and then you had a lot of celebrities there as well. So everyone there, I imagine, wasn't the cheapest person to get in, especially people like Snoop Dogg, and they hired so many people. I was really surprised. I mean, Jamie Foxx and Zac Efron and people were there, and it's like, what? Really? Wow, that's big. But I think there were 200,000 people that actually watched live, at least when I saw the numbers. So yeah, it clearly was a pretty successful event. So Battlefield 1, what do I think? What did I think when I was watching it? Did it look impressive? Well, Battlefield is probably one of my favourite EA franchises, probably just one behind Mass Effect, because Mass Effect I really, really enjoy, have a sort of bond, if you like, with that game, not in a weird way, and I just have always really enjoyed playing. Oh, I should have gotten there. I really enjoy playing it. So for them to make Battlefield 1 a sequel in a completely different time era to the Battlefield 4 game that obviously we all know and I certainly love, it could potentially upset some people, but I think most people are really excited about it. And of course, looking at that Call of Duty trailer, everyone is very annoyed, but they are always annoyed with Call of Duty, that they are doing basically the same thing all over again and not really making too many changes. So Battlefield 1, it looked really, really cool. They were showing the multiplayer, the 64 multiplayer on one map. And it's still not that easy to gauge, because streaming a game like that, it was somewhat low bitrate. It was kind of difficult to really take in probably how beautiful the game looks. And obviously without playing it you don't get the feeling, but everything I did see looked pretty impressive. And bearing in mind it's pre-alpha as well, it did seem fairly polished, but obviously it was only one map. There was a few things that looked a bit weird, but it seems like they've managed to sort of crack the feeling of a World War I game with just what is enjoyable and what is fun from a first-person shooter. So the weaponry definitely seemed like it was less powerful than the sort of stuff you get in Battlefield 4, which of course makes sense, but of course there'll be hardcore mode for the people that want to play a game that's a little bit harder anyway, so they can go ahead and do that if they don't like the damage. But it's basically almost, it feels, I guess, sort of looks and feels a bit like World at War, Call of Duty, but Battlefield, which if they manage to crack that, then that's perfect, because I just really loved World at War. It's probably my favourite Call of Duty that they've done, to be perfectly honest with you. And the thing I liked about that game was just how, obviously, the guns just felt completely different to these modern-day military shooter guns that are just really powerful. And the semi-automatic rifles and things like that, they seem like they've got a nice sort of punch to them. The sound effects are pretty cool. And then, of course, you've got all the vehicles, so the tanks, the level of destruction. All of this stuff sort of adds up, and it does look very impressive. And I'm so looking forward to playing it, because I'm still playing Battlefield 4 now, and this isn't exactly a new game by any stretch of the imagination. Holds up graphically, gameplay holds up, they've been updating the servers, and obviously it had a very dodgy launch, but realistically, on the whole, it's been a very successful game, and a lot of people enjoy playing it, and I can't wait for the beta to see and try Battlefield 1 for myself. So pretty excited about doing that, really. So yeah, that's Battlefield 1. Obviously, the trailer is live on the EA YouTube channel, and of course, if you want to catch that 64-player multiplayer stream, that will no doubt be archived, so you can go and check that out if you want to get an idea of what the gameplay was like. I basically watched about half an hour, 40 minutes before I was sort of had my fill, but obviously the whole hour is there if you want to go and check that out. But obviously there was loads and loads of other stuff as well. Hello to you guys in the comments watching live. There are people watching. This is fantastic news. The stream seems to be going successfully, which isn't something we always used to have, if you remember these streams from a few months ago. So hello to everyone in the comments. I'll be checking periodically, but I'm only using one monitor because I'm in the process of moving out. So I won't be able to sort of check the comments in real time. I'll have to check them actively. If you do have any comments and you're watching this on the archive, it doesn't have to be about gaming, but anything you want, just leave it in the comment section down below. But as this is a gaming channel, let's try and keep this semi on topic. But of course, the whole point is that you can literally ask me anything you want anyway. You're getting your gaming fix, I guess, by watching a gaming-related video. So yeah, EA Play. The other stuff. Should I go over it in order, or should I go over it out of order, based on what I thought was cool and what wasn't? I think the first thing that comes to mind is that the new Mass Effect, it looks good, but I'm slightly disappointed that we haven't sort of got more to see. But I think this is, in itself, it's kind of almost slightly exciting at the same time, because if they haven't got very much to show, then it clearly means that they're working hard on it, and there's been a lot of changes. I seem to have a strawberry pip in my throat. This is good timing, isn't it? It's British summer, so of course it's time to get British strawberries in. Do I have a glass of water to hand? Over there, 1 second. Always professional streams, as always. But there we go. I've lost my train of thought. I was talking about strawberries, wasn't I? Yes, Mass Effect. So there wasn't too much that they had on show. Wasn't too much for us to see, other than sort of what they're working on. Some of the guys working, some of the concept art, tiny bits of very pre-alpha gameplay. But of course it uses the new Frostbite engine. Well, it uses the Frostbite engine. Like, of course, with the Battlefield games, like the new FIFA does, that will be coming out later this year, and of course, like Dragon Age Inquisition did. So they invested so much money into the Frostbite engine that they basically wanted something that was going to be really high quality but scalable with different sorts of games, different platforms, things like that. So for the large part, it seems like it's being successful. And I don't know when Mass Effect is going to be coming out, but I am really looking forward to it. It seems, I almost looked at it thinking maybe they were going to do like the origin story of how did they come across the relays, but it doesn't quite look like that. But we're not entirely sure. All we know is that they're searching. It's basically a bit like, what was the film? Interstellar, I guess, but a bit more sciencey, a bit further on in time, because you had a spaceship that didn't look like something from this sort of era. So yeah, very excited about that. That's definitely the thing I wanted to see. But they didn't have too much to report on that, so there's not really too much more, unfortunately, I can say, other than what we did see looked pretty cool, and I'm looking forward to hearing more about that. One thing I think that is quite strange, though, is why Titanfall 2 is coming out so close to Battlefield. It's literally a week after Battlefield 1 comes out, Titanfall 2, and I think that's a very bad decision, personally. I think I wouldn't be surprised if one of them got delayed, and when I say one of them, it will almost certainly be Titanfall 2, I'd guess. Why not just delay it till March? Realistically, personally, I don't think there are too many people out there that wouldn't be interested in both. And if they stage out the releases so that they come out at different times, then I think we're going to get more sales, and I really wouldn't be surprised if they do that. And I should have gotten that. That was silly, wasn't it? But yeah, Titanfall 2. I wasn't disappointed. But I don't think we've got that much to go on it. But it didn't look that different, I think, in my personal opinion, to the original Titanfall. They didn't show enough features that made me go, wow, that looks really different. It just looked like almost looked like Call of Duty, the new Call of Duty one. It sort of looks good, but it almost looks a bit similar to the last one. And I doubt that it will be. I'm sure there'll be a lot of new things, and of course they did show off that single-player campaign, which did look pretty cool, to be fair. Not really sure how that's going to work, because it seems like they're trying to give a story to a robot. Personally, if I was going to take just a guess right here, right now, will it work, yes or no, I would say no. But I would absolutely love, and I'm hoping to be proved wrong. Because if they manage to crack that and have a single-player story, then that'd be pretty cool. But of course, we all remember how bad the story was in the original Titanfall, because it was multiplayer. But you didn't have a clue what was going on, and once people had played it after the game's launch, there weren't any servers and people couldn't play it anymore, and it was basically just a waste of time entirely. But when they got the multiplayer as right as they did in the original Titanfall, I don't think that is too much of a big deal. Next time I die, by the way, I will answer some of your questions. So if you have any questions, get them in the chat now, and I will answer them as soon as I can. Hopefully not too soon, though. Oh, it feels good to be playing Battlefield again, actually. I've been playing The Witcher recently. That's what I've been playing since the new Blood and Wine came out. I actually need to... Oh, dear. All right, some questions. Yes, right. So, hello to HB Animation, Tristan Grant, name lost, Robert Lunn. Hey, mate, guessing you're an engineering student. Kind of software engineering. It is called Web Technologies. So, yeah. Did you watch Battlefield 1 live stream? Looked pretty sweet. Yes, already talked about that, so feel free to... there's a really eye-catching background on your face cam. Is there? Well, it's just a window. I don't know if you're joking or not. But yeah. yeah, I've already done the Battlefield 1 sequence, so as soon as we finish this sequence, just feel free to wind back the stream, or you can do it now if you want, and I talked about Battlefield 1. So yeah, Titanfall 2 would like to be proved wrong. Pretty much just looks like a generic sequel, but I think that's just because the way they showed it off, I think maybe didn't do justice to the game. Whereas when you think the way Battlefield 1 was presented, I think they've absolutely nailed the way they've done that. And the hype has been built up, but it's not been sort of artificially built up, despite the fact that they had some celebrities basically just like, "What is this? Are you excited?" No. Yes, I mean. It didn't seem like they actually cared about video games. So that is the problem with paying celebrities to endorse something they have no idea what they're talking about. But there we go. Some were better than others. But yeah, I'd like to be proved wrong. And I was a massive fan of the original Titanfall, so I am looking forward to playing that. I just think that probably will get delayed till March next year. And I think that would probably be a good decision anyway. Because personally, I wouldn't enjoy Battlefield 1 and I wouldn't enjoy Titanfall 2 as much if they're a week apart, because I'll be wanting to play both and I probably won't get the most out of either that I would if I was waiting. But that's just my personal decision. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree. And of course money as well, you've got to buy both as well. That's unlucky. That is unlucky. Mr. Overt Sandstorm. I'm waiting for the GTX 1070 to build my first PC. When does PAS go out? Both cards should be out already. The 1080 and the 1070 should both be out now, I believe. Well, I don't believe that they are both out. So you should be able to get hold of one, or at least pre-order. I believe the 1080 is on back order. I wouldn't be surprised if there aren't enough 1070s to go around either. In terms of why haven't I used one or got one on the channel yet? Basically the way it worked is I've got some on the way. These are sort of review sample type things, but they went out to the big boys first, and because of Computex, all the PR people were basically away and I wasn't their concern. Quite rightly so. They've got bigger things to worry about. So I'll be getting the cards in the next 2 weeks, but I wouldn't be able to do a video anyway this weekend. Would be able to do it next weekend or the weekend after that, just because of logistics, with the fact that I'm busy moving out of this Portsmouth location. Can I get him? Can I get him? Can I get him? The answer is probably no. But yeah, no, I think Grenade's going to get him. No, didn't get him. Yeah, so yeah, we're doing some pretty cool build guides actually. We will be doing sort of bang for your buck PCs. We'll be doing an all-out 1080. I'll be doing a personal rig update, which I'm looking forward to doing. That will be with one of the new Intel Frostbite E processors. That will be a 6-core, although I should be testing the 10-core as well, but realistically I wouldn't, and no one really would benefit from spending that amount of money on the 10-core. Well, obviously people would benefit, but I mean, logistically, is it worth it? Probably not for 99% of applications, hence why I'm getting the 6-core, which is about the same price as the Devil's Canyon. That's I'm behind. The Skylake 7700K. We'll be doing some ITEX builds as well, because I've actually got a Skylake i5 that Intel have kindly gifted to me as well. Well, I say gifted. It never works like that. I mean, when people, all the time you hear on streams and things, people are like, "Oh, thank you so much." You know, and I'm guilty of it as well. You know, thank you so much to this company for sending this out. They're not doing that because they like me. They're doing that because you basically say to them, "Hey, look, I'm doing these videos. You're going to get this many eyeballs on this particular processor if you give it to me," and then it works out for everyone. But yeah, obviously, I'm sure you obviously managed to work that one out anyway. And we're off topic. We should be talking about EA Play. FIFA, I'm not really going to talk about that because about half the people will not be interested in that. Uses the Frostbite engine, which I think is quite cool, and I hinted at this earlier. The fact that the Frostbite engine is that scalable, that it can be used with the Frostbite engine, I think it's pretty impressive, to be perfectly honest with you. But we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully graphics should be better, but I imagine there'll probably be some quirks and things with the fact that it's using a different engine. It will upset some people, but there we go. They've also got a new mode, which is basically like a story mode, if you like, where you actually, it's almost like with cutscenes and you're a player and things like that. We saw a little trailer for that. Looked cool, but you know, I mean, I don't really know how that's going to work until I've played it. But yeah, I'll be a student again next year, so I imagine FIFA will be part of my roster one way or another. What else stuck out? I've got a list. I'm going to have to look at the list. And what else did they show off? Star Wars stuff. They've gone absolutely ham, haven't they, with Star Wars stuff. Unbelievable, really. They've dedicated, what, 4, 5, 6 studios to making Star Wars games? Which is probably a little bit overkill, but people do love Star Wars. And I quite like the fact that they've got Amy Hennig working on a game at Visceral, which, to my eyes, basically screams it's going to be Uncharted, but Star Wars. And they've got full creative control, and they're literally just making entire new characters, new game from this in a Star Wars universe, which I think should be pretty awesome, actually, because when you think about it, one of the weaknesses with doing a Star Wars game is the fact that you've got to be true to the sort of Star Wars universe and Star Wars lore, and basically be true to the characters that are in the game. I mean, if you're going to make a movie game, that is the worst for this, because you've got to do what they do in a movie, and it's very difficult to remain in creative control when you're literally just basically following a script that's been pre-written for you. So that should be pretty cool, and obviously the Uncharted games are awesome, so if they can manage to recreate that sort of magic that you get from the Uncharted games, that would be pretty damn cool, and I would be really looking forward to playing that, but we don't really know anything about that. Battlefront, there'll be more content for that, surprising absolutely no one. They say they're a little bit unclear whether it's going to be a new game or whether it's just going to be a sort of big expansion. It'll probably be a new game that will come out next year for Battlefront. I don't know, that might upset a few people, I guess. But I think what everyone generally thought about Battlefront is that it's really good for a certain amount of time, and then there's not that much depth. And this is the same problem that Titanfall had in its launch. They managed to nail what they're trying to do, but it just, to keep someone amused as their primary game for months on end, it didn't quite manage to do that for a lot of people. But there we go, I still play a bit of Battlefront from every now and then, I still like it. It's just, I'm addicted to Battlefield and other games. But I guess that's the point, Battlefront didn't do that to me. Any more questions? Let's have a look. There are some, actually. Do you think you'd be able to get a 480 to review around release, or will you be waiting a while? We'll be getting one, I'm just not entirely sure when. It might be something I'll consider actually purchasing for myself. It depends on stuff. But yeah, we'd almost certainly be getting in. I've got quite a few friends fortunate now in the industry, which is great, which means that we should be able to get one in. So, yeah. Mate, did you see the Battlefield 1? Yes, all the Battlefield 1 stuff I've talked about, I did that first, so at the end of this stream, just simply go back and watch it, or if you want to just do that now, obviously you can go ahead and watch that. What do you think about the 490X? 490X, has that even been announced? Do you mean the 480? I think you mean the 480. VR at 199. Should be interesting, but we have to wait and see. I hyped about Titanfall 2, don't think they presented it well enough. When will this stream finish? It will finish when I'm too tired. It will finish when I want to go. We've got no restrictions now. This is PC-centric gaming. This is about the gaming. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. There's no time constraints. Don't have to upset anyone. It's brilliant. I'm going to stream as often as I like. I can do videos about whatever I like. And I don't have to worry, like I say, about upsetting people, sticking to a schedule. But this particular stream will basically finish once I've finished talking about EA Play, and then I will do another stream either tomorrow night, Tuesday night, something like that, about everything that happened at E3, because of course EA Play is a separate event. Now I'm going to have to check my list now, because I'm out of ideas. So we had, schedule-wise, they talked about Titanfall 2, then there was the EA Sports, Mass Effect, FIFA, Star Wars, Battlefield 1. I've talked about most of that already. So the last few things were the EA Sports stuff. They're basically going to do tournaments, and this isn't just for EA Sports, to be fair. And I think this is quite a good idea. Now, a lot of you probably know already, I'm not a massive esports fan. That's not to say I don't approve of it. You know, EA, oh no, it shouldn't. You know, sports shouldn't be on TV. Obviously, nothing like that. I think it's really pretty damn cool, actually. Esports. It's just, it's not something. I prefer to play rather than watch, but it depends entirely what it is. But the fact that they're basically doing these EA major tournaments, I think is pretty damn cool, because when you think about, say, let's take golf, let's take the Masters. A load of people watch that. A load of people are interested in that, and then to a load of other people, they're like, why on earth would you want to watch golf? How boring is that? So the fact that EA are basically catering to people that love esports, and I know they're not the first people to have tournaments, obviously, and things like that, but it's just great that there is another tournament for people out there to get involved in. They're saying that there are going to be some lesser tournaments as well that everyone can get involved in, and it's just giving people to more of a chance to get involved in the esports scene. And I have to say that the sort of being able to watch things like this on a Chromecast, I only recently discovered this like 6 months ago. The fact that you can just get something on YouTube Gaming, Twitch, something like that, that you're enjoying, and literally just basically ping it onto your TV means that it's more accessible than ever. It's cheaper, it's free, it's cheaper than ever, and it just means that everyone can basically get involved with watching esports if that's what they want to do. And when you think, if you want to watch real sports, you've got to pay a load of money to do it. There are going to be people out there that like sports and like esports, and they might start watching more esports if there's more of it, just because it's easier and more accessible. But that's a different story for a different day. One esport I would quite like to watch, that'd be pretty cool actually, is if they had The Witcher Gwent as an esport. It's semi-joking, but yeah, no, Gwent's great. They should actually bring out the card game. I'll get involved with that. That's all I did in The Witcher. Played like 76 hours playthrough. Still haven't finished it. At least 20 hours that I had with Gwent. But yeah, no, I'd like to try and get into more esports. But the news that EA was saying is that they've got these major tournaments, and next year they're going to be $1 million in prize money up for grabs as a result of these tournaments. So if you like esports, then they're starting with Madden, but then there will eventually be things like FIFA, Battlefield 1, all of that stuff as tournaments, and they throw as much money as they need to make a profit. So if there's loads of buzz around it, there'll be more contests with more money prizes, things like that, and there'll be more things for people to get involved in. So hopefully that will go well for them. Obviously EA is a company trying to make money. This is a business decision for them, but again, while I'm not the biggest fan of watching esports, there are so many people out there that absolutely love it, and it's great that there is going to be another way for people to enjoy that. So on the whole, EA Play I think was a success. They definitely had a few teething issues with the fact they were doing it from LA and London and swapping them over, but on the whole I thought it was a success. Right, comments section. Let's have a look. Because remember, I'm moving out, I only got one monitor, that's why I'm not answering questions all the time, but do keep them coming. Mass Effect looks really nice, but there wasn't too much to see, unfortunately. What's a decent mouse? Around 40, 50 pounds, keyboard 40, 50 pounds. Keyboard, spend an extra 10 pounds, get the Coolmaster Quickfire TK. It's what I'm using. You can get a blue for 55, a red for 65. Still one of my all-time favourites, and it's very relatively cheap for a mechanical keyboard. Decent mouse. Haven't. At the moment, I'm using the Extrafy. Oh god, really long, stupid model name. And you can check this out. There's a review on the channel. Using that, I really like that. That's around about 40, 50 pounds. You've got also got the Corsair Saber RGB that you can take a look at. Personally, it wasn't my favourite mouse. Wasn't not my favourite mouse. I'd recommend maybe the original M65, probably in that price bracket, or you can get the Logitech, if they still sell it, the G400. I'm sure they do. The G400 I used to love that. That's around about £35 when I bought that. But yeah, this Extrafy one, actually, I have to say, is a really, really good mouse if you want a pure gaming experience. It's definitely been growing on me. I've been using loads of different mice recently, actually, for various different reasons, different locations, things like that. Of course, I did the Corsair Lapdog, so I had to have a separate mouse for that. So I've been testing loads, and the two really that stand out to me as really good is the Extrafy that I'm using, and then the Corsair M65, but that is one of my all-time favourites. The Scimitar, and I got a load of stick because I basically mispronounced scimitar in the review. I called it a scimitar, and you can get over that. I apologise. That was not very good for me, but I know now. I've been corrected. So that's pretty good if you want all the buttons, but I'm not someone that uses all the buttons. So there's some suggestions for mice for you. And Touch and Cloth said hello a load of times. Hello to Touch and Cloth. Have you ever thought about doing walkthroughs? Not really, just because it's a load of time dedication, and personally it's this amount of time that I'd rather put into doing B-roll. Videos these days, they take about 10 hours per video, if not longer, depends entirely on the video. But yeah, literally I spend so much time doing those videos, absolutely love it. Got a new toy, got a Zoom H5 recorder. And then this is what I use for clean audio, so it's got a lot less noise. And then also in my bag of goodies, I got a new boom microphone. Listen to the noise there. Oh. So this was about 250 quid for something that's very small. But the combination of these two things, it creates really crisp, clean audio. I'm not using it at the moment, of course. I'm using the Blue Yeti. And it's just so much better than what I was using before, which was a Rode video mic. And it's going to last a long time. And if there's one thing I've learned, is as long as obviously you've got the money that you can put aside, do it properly once. Never need to do it again. I've learned this the hard way so many times. Have we got some lag going on here? What's going on here? What is going on with the server? Catastrophic. I don't know what's going on there. We've had some horrible lag at the start of that. Yeah, with my equipment, if you can, whatever it is, whether it's a kettle, a PC, if you basically just spend as much money on something as you can rather than cutting corners, because cutting corners will always haunt you later. Yes, there's loads of server lag. Everyone's getting it. Everyone's complaining. So I'll do a few more comments while we're waiting. What mousepad do you use? Like rubby one or hard? I like a soft cloth surface. There's quite a few good ones. The one I've got here is, and this full disclosure with these, I never at the moment I never need to pay for mouse mats because I never ask for them, but they always get sent across, so they can basically sneak a bit of product placement into some of my videos. And they think I don't notice, and I think that's why I'm not doing it. But the reason I say that is because the one I'm using here is a Corsair cloth one. It covers my keyboard and my mouse, which is pretty good. The one I bought myself that I was very happy with, still very happy with, is a Steel Series one. But then the one I'm actually quite liking that I've got in the studio is an Overclockers UK stupidly large mat that basically takes up about 30 centimeters in width, no, 30 centimeters in depth, and then about 80 centimeters in width, and it's a nice surface actually. I mean, you want one that's fairly thick, and I think cloth is, personally, I think is the best, but it's going to depend entirely on your playstyle and the mouse and all of that, but you can calibrate a lot of mice these days. Oh, this is awesome control. You can calibrate your mice these days to the surface as well, which does help. But yeah, if you want a suggestion of mice mats, basically I use a cloth one. The one I bought personally, I bought two of them in my time, has been Steel Series ones, but I like the Corsair one that I'm using here. I can't remember the exact name. I don't remember the exact name because, like I say, I was given it and never actually asked for it, so it's not really something I question. And then I'm also using Overclockers UK one. I did have an Extrafy one, but that actually wasn't quite as good. Again, I bought that from, well, I didn't buy it. Overclockers UK sent that out. Yeah, if you have any more questions, do keep them coming in, because I know there's quite a few people watching now, which is brilliant. We went from 0 subscribers, 0 viewers, to actually getting some viewers, which is it's not bad for a first run. I take it the stream's working alright as well, not any teething issues. Oh, look at that, we're doing it. Of course, anyone that's European, or even if you're American, are you watching the Euros as well? I've actually been watching pretty much all the games I can. I'm not even a massive football fan. I was watching the Northern Ireland one, they didn't even play Will Greer. unbelievable. Because, of course, Will Griggs on fire. Will Griggs on fire. There might be one person that will get that. And if you get that, you're going to have a smile on your face. I guarantee. If not, just look up, just search for Will Griggs on fire. It's basically the new football chant that's taking over the world. Well, probably not the world, just taking over Wigan Athletic and Northern Ireland. Anyway, last few comments. Favourite game of all time. Favourite series would be the Mass Effect series. Favourite game, very difficult to say. I always like the original Populous The Beginning. Well, it's not the original, but I like Populous The Beginning. That was pretty cool. Those are the first things that come to mind. I might have some soon. Some more suggestions. Will you be doing a review of the GTX 1070, 1080 if possible? Yes, just need to wait and get them in. Should be getting, hopefully, fingers crossed, but it's not confirmed. One from MSI, one from Asus as well, but we'll have to wait and see. And then I know some people want me to get the 380 as well from AMD, 480 I should say. We'll be getting that in. Hi man, regards from Argentina. How are you? From Texie14, I'm very well. Game audio is quite loud. I can reduce the game audio. Thanks for pointing that out. 11 viewers. That's. I'm happy with that. I'm actually quite happy with that. Like I say, we went from 0 subscribers, so these are all people that watch the video on PCcentric. Also, so I suppose I probably should ask as well, are you guys happy with the way PC-centric gaming is going to work? So there's not, at the moment anyway, this is probably going to change when I go full time, but at the moment there's not going to be any schedule. This channel is going to be used for reviews and updates and just general gaming content. Whenever I'm sort of playing a game like Battlefield, I'll do a stream and I can answer some of your questions. So if you like this sort of thing, let me know, and if you don't, let me know, but let me know why, basically. Right, the time is now 12 o'clock here in the UK exactly, so we're played for another 5-10 minutes. If you have any last questions, get them in. But I will use this time to basically talk about E3 and some of my predictions / what I want to see, because that's what everyone does, isn't it? It's all rage. What would I like to see? Well, Microsoft and Sony. Sony have said that there is a PS Neo. They have confirmed it exists, but they aren't. They're saying it's not going to be at E3, and I really don't understand. I'm sorry, I'll keep my voice down because I get quite uptight about this. Really don't understand. People are getting so hyped about this, and they're saying, "Oh, it's going to be so good," gaming, 4K gaming. Right. I'm not disputing the fact that the PlayStation 4 Neo, whatever they call it, will be able to play some games in 4K. But this is going to be like minute stuff. Most of it's going to be upscaled anyway. There is, put this into perspective. A GTX 980 cannot run most games at 4K. Okay? That is just the facts. So do you really think that this new PlayStation is going to have the power of a GTX 980 in it? No. Is it going to have the power of a GTX 1080 in it? No. Is it going to be able to output 4K movies, maybe HDR video, and basically be a 4K media center? Yes. Yes, it is. Is it going to be able to upscale a lot of games, rendering the UI at 4K, but rendering the game itself at 1080p and then upscaling it? Probably, yes. Is it going to be able to play Battlefield 1 at 4K? No. No, it is not. And I will eat my hat, right, if that isn't the case. And because it's just not possible. They're using an AMD APU. It is not possible to do serious 4K gaming on an APU. Don't be ridiculous. And there are people out there, and it was mainly the news outlets, like, I mean, I'm not going to say names. I mean, basically not the stuff like Eurogamer and stuff that are Digital Foundry. They're always really good. They know what they're talking about. A lot of, like proper gaming media is fine. But you get so much crap out there, and it really does piss me off. And Jeff, I doubt he's watching, but Jeff, who I follow on Twitter, he's been one of my main Twitter followers for years. I talk to him all the time now on Twitter. He actually produced a brilliant image that he'd got from Facebook. And in their little trending topics, where it had news, it said Microsoft to announce Halo Wars 2, the new first-person shooter. And it's just like, that's what we're dealing with, right? Just get your bloody facts together, 'cause it pisses me off. Right, now that rant's over, let's talk E3 predictions. Halo Wars, I would love that. And if they don't do this, I think it's absolutely ridiculous and a farce, but I think they will. But if they don't, it will be a farce. PC and Xbox and maybe crossplay. So the point is a strategy game, RTS, should be on PC. They're pushing for all these PC games, right, at the moment, aren't they? And the continuity between the two platforms, right? And they're working together. So I'd be very surprised if we didn't see Halo Wars on both PC and Xbox. But if they don't do that, it'll be an absolute disgrace, in my opinion. And no, it gets me angry. We'll move on. So they should do that anyway. They might announce a new console, but it will literally just be, if they do, it will be a 4K media center. Not really too much to say there. It's been leaked. There's a white one. Wow, that's news. I care about that. I don't own an Xbox. I'm not planning to own an Xbox in the immediate future. Let's move on. Microsoft. I'd just like to see some new IP, I guess. I'd like to see Gears of War coming to the PC. I don't know. I mean, I always enjoy the Microsoft press conference. I have to say, last year I think was pretty good. The year before was probably even better. But just, yeah, the more stuff from the PC, the better. New IP, and just, you know, give us an entertaining show. Sony, they're gonna have to show off some new IP, I think, because obviously their big trump card over the last few years was Uncharted, but they don't have that anymore, so they're gonna have to produce something else. I know they do have some new IP that they haven't obviously finished showing off properly yet. They've only showed trailers and things like that for, so it'd be quite cool to see what they've got. Otherwise, I don't really know. I mean, there's been quite a few leaks, but personally I find leaks quite annoying because they're often not entirely accurate, and then they just ruin the show because you've seen it all before. So not too much I'm sure about Sony. PC Gaming Show is sponsored, I think, by AMD again, isn't it? So we might see some more stuff on the AMD 480. And I don't really know. What would you guys like to see? Let me know in the comments below. Let's see what you guys are saying. Do you think I can put, this is from Texie14, do you think I can put a 960 with a Z97 on a NZXT 440? Well, 960 with, what's the Z97? That's Devil's Canyon, isn't it? It's late, so you have to forgive me. Well, yeah, there's no reason why that won't work, but personally I'd wait. There's no real point buying anything but a Pascal card at the moment, so I would wait if you can, unless you really need one. And then Riddy is talking about the GTX 1080, and then console stuff. EA conference was awful. If you like FIFA or Madden, you're sorted. That was about it. I wouldn't say it was awful, but they didn't really have, they had Battlefield 1, and that was sort of about it, wasn't it? The rest wasn't too much really to talk about. Hey man, what game recorder do you use? I just enlarged the stream. That's stupid. I use the OBS, and then the NVEC encoder. But if you're using SLI, it does not work, as we found out, and I can work out why for months. If you have SLI, then it doesn't work. But I'm just using one GTX 980 here with the NVEC encoder and OBS, and it seems to work nicely. So yeah, there we go. I've never done any console sort of DVR stuff other than just using the PlayStation share button when I did a bit of Destiny coverage. Not too much other than that. But yeah, okay, I think that's everything for E3 really. I mean, obviously there's a lot of stuff I haven't really talked about, but in all honesty, I don't know what they're going to do, and we can speculate about it, but I'm sure there are other people out there that are better speculating about it than me. Let's be honest, it's not really that interesting anyway. What we will be talking about is when they have announced it, we'll be doing the post-mortem, and then that will be interesting because we can actually talk about stuff that's shown off rather than saying I'd like to see this, I'd like to see this. And on that note, our team lost. What a shame. But on that note, I think we're in the stream there. What was that, about 45 minutes or so? I hope you enjoyed it. This was the first PC-centric stream. I hope it was nice and concise. I hope you've got all the information you need. Obviously, if you want to know more channel information, then you can check out the video that you've already seen to get you here, so that doesn't actually make any sense. There'll be more streams this week, so if you have any more questions that I haven't answered, then feel free to join me for the stream there, or of course go on Twitter. It's at PCcentric on Twitter. honestly, when it comes to Twitter, I'm more or less good or gold. I must reply to 95% of messages. Thank you to all of you guys as well that entered the giveaway. That giveaway happened a couple of weeks ago now. Both people have their prize and I believe are happy with it. Although the guy that won the keyboard hasn't got back to me with a picture. So I hope he hasn't sold it on. I'd be very sad if he did that. He can do what he likes with it. But I'd always prefer it would go to a fan. But gotta be fair. So random generators did pick me a winner. I can't pick and choose unfortunately because that was random. There we go. Maybe next time we'll be a bit more selective and we'll have like a competition that I get to basically choose the best response or something. That might be a bit fairer. I don't know. But yeah, this has been PC-Centric Gaming. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Because let's be honest, even if the videos are crap and they're horrible, you can unsubscribe if you want. But of course, I'm sure that I will do my best to make sure that they're not. We've got some hopefully good reviews coming up as well. Haven't done one on Total War Warhammer yet. Still haven't done one on Dirt Rally. Really need to get around to that. But long story short, there'll be loads of gaming content coming here. I can't promise at the moment how regular they are. But the PC-centric stuff takes about 10 hours to film. That's not going to change. This is a little bit extra and I hope you've enjoyed it. So a massive thank you to you guys for checking out this video. I don't believe there are any last comments, are there? You're too late, by the way, if you're thinking I've got a question, because this is literally the last check. Yeah, no, that's it. Okay, so thank you so much for you guys for checking out this video. I really appreciate it. The PC-Centric channel now is over 27,500 subscribers, which is crazy. The goal is to get to 50,000 by the end of next year. Hopefully we'll do it, and then 100,000 a year after that. So we're being ambitious, but I am 100% committed to doing this. And hopefully you're enjoying the content. It seems from the statistics, especially case reviews, apparently you guys are absolutely loving it. So yeah, thank you so much for checking out this video. Really appreciate it. And I'll catch you in the next few days on the next stream.